For the first time, the Supreme Court of India permitted the withdrawal of life-sustaining treatment in a case involving a patient who had remained in a permanent vegetative state for many years. The case involved Harish Rana, an engineering student from Punjab University, Chandigarh. In August 2013, he suffered a severe brain injury after falling from the fourth floor of his paying guest accommodation. Since then, he remained in a permanent vegetative state with no meaningful interaction with his surroundings. He survived with medical support, including a tracheostomy tube for breathing and a PEG tube through which nutrition was provided. In 2024, his parents approached the Delhi High Court seeking permission to withdraw life-sustaining treatment. The High Court rejected the request, observing that Harish was not dependent on mechanical ventilation. The family then approached the Supreme Court of India. The court directed that two independent medical board concluded that his condition was irreversible and the chances of recovery were negligible. On March 11, 2026, a bench of Justice J.B. Bhatiwala and Justice K.V. Vishwanathan permitted the withdrawal of life-sustaining treatment. The court also explained an important legal point. It stated that clinically administered nutrition and hydration, including feeding through medical tubes, is considered life-sustaining medical treatment and may be withdrawn when the required medical and legal safeguards are satisfied. The judgment also referred to the earlier Supreme Court decision in Common Cause versus Union of India 2018. The court has explained that Article 21 protects not only right to live but also dignity at the end of life. In case of terminal illness or permanent vegetative state, the law allows withdrawal of life-sustaining treatment under strict safeguards. Questions that often arise when such judgments are discussed: does this mean euthanasia is legal in India? Answer is no. Active euthanasia remains illegal. The law allows only passive euthanasia, which means withdrawal of life-sustaining treatment under strict medical and legal safeguards. Can families decide this on their own? No. Such decisions require by medical boards and compliance with the procedure laid down by the Supreme Court. This judgment brings us to an important constitutional question. If Article 21 protects the right to live with dignity, should that dignity also matter at the final stage of life when recovery is no longer possible? A question worth reflecting on.